You're listening to Glass Half Broken, a modern media podcast. I'm Erin.
I'm Colin.
And I'm Tom.
Great.
And all of us together, we form the Glass Half Broken podcast.
Yeah, that is precisely what I said originally.
That's amazing.
So, how's everybody doing?
Really good. Fantastic.
Swimmingly.
Swimmingly. Wow. All right.
It's been 1 week, and we've decided to do this again.
And the last episode was the cliffhanger of who would get hit by a bus, I think was the last thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
No.
I haven't.
I checked. No, I didn't either.
No.
I did, but it was parked.
It was just a...
It was a parked
You
bus,
hip-checked
so
it.
yeah.
All right.
I still have to pay damages on that.
All right.
I have a court date though.
That's good. It's a good way to start the podcast. It's a good way to start your day.
with a good old-fashioned court date.
All right.
So what does, I don't know, the last week, has anybody seen anything interesting, read anything interesting, been interesting?
I have. Once again, I don't want to, turn this into, make this like a video game thing, but, I know last week I mainly talked about Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and I continue to play that. It continues to be a great game. Though I did come across like that one part that I think a lot of people when they play a game, even a really good game, they'll come across that one part that's just really out of place. It's just not as well done.
The one part that wasn't play tested.
I came across a part. I don't know if it's that big of a spoiler or anything like that, but at one point.
That's all right. You spoiled an entire movie last time.
Sure,
So.
but it was a movie I didn't like, and it was at the very end of the podcast. There's a point where you're playing a snake, and usually the way that you play this game is that, like, you go into the base, you complete your objective, and then you get out of the hot zone. They tell you need to exfiltrate the hot zone. So you basically just get out of range of the that area, and then from there you can also you can call a helicopter to come pick you up. And you can choose where the helicopter will pick you up from. So it's all about you do it the way you want to do it. You complete the objective in the way that you feel is right. And I come across a mission where you are basically you've just rescued a prisoner, and a Metal Gear. Hence, the title.
Hence the name.
That's the name of the game.
Spoiler: you fight a Metal Gear in a game called Metal Gear.
That's right. I don't. But and it's basically it's a gigantic robot. It is a gigantic big robot.
That is so unique.
And it's right. But you have to. So they decide for you where the helicopter landing zone is going to be. You don't choose where it is. Just all of a sudden out of nowhere, like, oh, we're gonna land here. It's like all right, and it's right outside the base where you just came from, where the Metal Gear is. It's like, that's not the best place to put that. Like, why would you do that? And you can't tell it to go anywhere else. It's just like, no, we're going right here. It's like, well, can't you go someplace where there's not a giant robot? No, we already, like, dude, like, seriously. And it was, and so then I'm just like, all right, well, screw this. Like, so I thought to myself, so I found a car, and I'm just like, all right, I'm going to get into this car, and I'm going to drive the hell away, exfiltrate the hot zone, like every other fucking mission. You need to get away from that area, then you win, or then you complete the mission. And so I start driving the car, and then there's this kind of like white noise filter that starts to like appear over the screen, and then they're just sort of like, oh, you're about to leave the mission area, go back. And it's just sort of like, so that basically means
the objective is to leave the mission area.
It's like,
but no, don't leave it.
Yeah. The objective is to leave the mission area, but via the fucking helicopter, you asshole. So it's like, so I'm just thinking to myself, like, all right, what? Like, it's like every other mission is just, you need to get out of there, so it's like, all right, but here it's just like, no, you need to stay right there where the giant robot is, but you need to go into that helicopter. So basically what you need to do is you need to hide from this giant robot, and it's a giant robot. It knows where you are. And so like and like it'll kind of patrol this area. It'll kind of go back and forth. But if it kind of knows where you are, it'll be that thing where it's just like you'll hear the character Ocelot is talking in your ear, and he's over a radio, and he's just saying like, all right, I think you've lost him. But then for some reason it's still like, all right, if this Metal Gear lost me, how come it's circling the rock that I'm behind? It's like it clearly knows where I am. And like it doesn't act like any of the other enemies in the game, where it's like if the enemy is just like, oh, I guess it was nothing, then they'll walk away and they'll continue with their patrol. This Metal Gear is just sort of like, I think there's something behind this rock. Let me look behind this rock.
No,
there's nothing there. Let me try the other side of the rock. Nothing there. What was behind the rock? Hang on. It's just sort of like it just keeps circling around the rock, and you're just sort of like, and Ocelot's just like, oh, you've lost it. Like, no, I haven't fucking lost it. It knows where I am. So I'm just like trying to lose it, and then eventually I lose it enough to be able to get to the landing zone. And as the helicopter's coming down, then it spots you again, and then they're just sort of like, just get on the helicopter. Just fuck it. Just get on the helicopter, and then you just get on there and. It was just a weird, like, throughout, up until that point, it's been all about, like, all right, no, you complete the mission the way you see fit, and you choose where the helicopter's going to be, you get out of the hot zone, you do this, and so, like, it really felt out of place, and for the fact that it felt so restrictive, but yeah, thus far, that's been the only part of the game that I haven't liked. Other than that, the game has been excellent, but it's just that one part was just like, why all of this is it happening?
6 minutes in, you've already worked up a sweat.
Yeah, but other than that, I've also been playing a lot of Super Mario Maker, which is is for the Wii U, and it is basically Nintendo releasing a level editor for Super Mario Brothers, and it's basically you can make it in the style of Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Brothers U.
But no Super Mario 2.
No Super Mario 2.
But no, because nobody likes Super Mario 2.
I love Super Mario 2.
All right, never mind.
Everybody loves Super Mario Bros. 2.
I can get right up until where that thing shoots the eggs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good morning.
The very beginning of the game.
The end of the first stage. Yeah, is what you're saying.
That is pretty much my extent of Super Mario 2.
But yeah, I mean, like, because in Japan it's not a Mario game, so like.
Oh, it's not.
So no, it's a game called Doki Doki Panic, and they basically because Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan is basically just Super Mario Brothers but with different levels.
Yeah.
And so then it was also really hard, so they were just like, fucking Americans don't like hard games. So they had like, let's just take this other game that we made and let's just put Mario characters in it.
Although I'm pretty sure that even like Miyamoto considers Mario 2 to be the real Mario 2.
Yeah, it's like they reskinned it
like our Mario 2 to be the real Mario 2.
Yeah, because
I think what we got is Lost Level. I fucking hate that game.
Oh no, I don't like it either.
Hate
like
the real Mario 2.
The real Super Mario Bros. 2 I think is garbage. But anyway. So I think I think that's the main reason why they don't put it in there, because it's technically it's not an official Mario game, but yeah, I would have loved, and plus it's like it's not those levels are a lot different from all the other types of levels, which are just like the timed levels of like the
running left to right, yeah,
running left to right.
There's a lot of like vertical stuff in Mario 2.
So
so I can see that getting left out.
Yeah, I can maybe in like a DLC pack they'll be like, here you can make your own Mario 2 levels, but they're crazy.
So have you tried Mario Maker yet? Are you?
Yeah, I've been playing it.
Oh, you have been? Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that part. I swear.
At the very beginning, I was just like, I've been playing a lot of Super Mario Maker.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I thought you were just...
No. So anyway.
It's alright. You're under the weather. I'm like running on like 3 hours of sleep.
I'm really
here,
not feeling that awesome. So, I'll just let you talk right now.
That's okay, yeah. So yeah, it's a level editor. It's really intuitive. It's basically just drag and drop. Like I want to put a Goomba there, I want to put a pipe there. Go into the pipe and you go into this other area, and it's just very very intuitive. Very just like within 10 minutes, like it taught me. Like the tutorial teaches you what to do, and like I was already making levels and doing stuff. And
could you see it being done without the tablet, the gamepad, I should say?
The gamepad, It would be annoying. I couldn't. I mean, you could, yes, to do it without the.
But it would be a bear without the gamepad.
Yeah, it would just be,
right.
you'd be using the analog stick, and you'd be just like trying to go out there, and then it wouldn't be as. You wouldn't be doing it as quickly and as fluently of just basically all right, put the pipe there, adjust the pipe's position, do that, and it's basically just using the stylus and just placing stuff on the level is really good. The only weird thing about it is that the way that, because when you start up the game the very first time, you don't have everything. You have the Super Mario Brothers and New Super Mario Brothers U styles. And then you just have a few, you can place some blocks and you can place a couple enemies and that's about it. And because I think their idea was that we don't want to overwhelm the player at first, so we're gonna dole this out. So you have to play it at the very least 5 minutes a day for 9 days. And that was the original thought, and then so then the next day they'll say, all right, here's a few more things, and then you play it for another 5 minutes.
You're gonna kind of artificially drip feed it to you.
Yeah. So when the game was
directly into your veins.
When the game was released, basically all the reviewers did the trick of going into the system clock and then just setting it. So it'd be just all right, there you go. And so then, but there's actually a way now to do it without doing that, and that's basically. Once you get the message that says, tomorrow we're going to give you new shit, then after that, you just basically expand the level to its maximum. Basically, just make it as big as possible, and then just start dropping blocks like crazy. And you can just basically go, and just drop blocks everywhere, and just do that for a few minutes, and eventually you'll get a message that said, oh, a delivery, your new level set came earlier than expected, and then they'll give you the new stuff. And then, once again, after 5 minutes, it'll give you another message that says, your new level set will come by tomorrow. And then once that happens, just once again, do it again. And just start dropping blocks everywhere. And then eventually, within, I think I was messing around with it for about an hour. And I got everything.
You got everything.
I got everything. So that's a lot better than 9 days. It's just and it didn't. I didn't feel overwhelmed when I got everything. I actually looked at stuff and it was just all right. There's this. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I knew Mario, so I knew what everything was. I'm just okay, I know what that is. I know what this is.
I think they might have been working under the assumption that there's going to be a lot of kids playing the game. We don't want to just make their dump this huge toolbox on them, but
right.
Kids are
they're
not
smarter.
Stupid.
Yeah, they're smarter.
Oh yeah.
So they're not going to be oh no, is this thing? Is that a question mark? Yes, that's a question mark.
I remember when I was a kid, and I'm dating myself here, but when Mario Paint came out, there was no system of unlocks to unlock all the tools that you had available to you, and
what system was Mario Paint on?
That was on Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have Mario Paint.
No, I know. But I remember when Super Nintendo came out, and that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
They that was where they I think that was with the Super Nintendo mouse, right?
Well, yeah,
because you had to have a point device for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not an arduous process to learn how to use it.
Right. And so I think this is a thing where you can work around that and it's really cool, and it comes with a booklet, which is actually really cool, of basically stuff that you can do. It's it'll have here you can do this or you can do that, and then there's little codes on there. You can put the code in the game and you can play that level, and it kind of gives you some ideas. And there's a lot of really interesting things you can do that because there are a lot of different anachronisms. Because there are certain enemies you can put in the Super Mario Brothers style that weren't in Super Mario Brothers, and you can do things like that. At first I think it was Jeff Gersman from Giant Bomb had said that when they originally announced this, he wanted the exact tool set of he didn't want to have those kind of anachronisms. But then he had written once he started playing it and he was reviewing it, he basically just said this is exactly what it should have been. This is exactly what it should be. Is that basically just sort of users are going to come up with weird shit with this game, and I kind of played a few levels, and there's a lot of really creative stuff going on. But you don't really want to part of the charm of user created levels is not restricting them in a way that because you don't have to worry about you're like, oh, is this level gonna play with the kids? Like, well, you don't have to worry about like a focus tested level or anything. You just feel like, this is basically Karibo shoes everywhere, and then you have a bounce pad, and then this jumps. I don't know.
So how many? Because you've been playing a few levels already, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How many of them are just Karibo shoes everywhere?
I haven't come across any of those. That's basically what was going to be my next level that I was going to do, which is basically nothing but Karibo shoes.
That would be my very first level, I mean, because that's...
Okay, well, I have a question, and
yes.
Pardon my ignorance, because I really don't know about this game.
What the fuck is a Karibo shoe?
No, I know what that is. I do know what that is.
That's like
give me some credit.
Yeah, that's like your favorite thing to do when we were playing when we were kids.
So are you able to play other users' levels? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so it's not just
you upload,
yourself.
Yeah, you upload your level, and I think it's really, basically, and this has been... the kind of the rule for any kind of user created content of any game is that you have to be able to finish your level.
Yeah.
Like you can't make an unfinishable level and put it up. So you basically it'll say upload, and it's just like, all right, well, first they'll just basically plop you at the very beginning of the stage, and you have to just finish it, and then from there, and then after that, then it uploads, and the way. Each level has a code, and you can put in a code to kind of find levels and stuff like that. The way you kind of search for different levels is kind of janky. It's a little harder than a lot of other games. Because there have been plenty of other games that have had user created content, and they're all really easily, you're able to search for them easily. Here it's a little weird.
But Nintendo.
And Nintendo's still kind of...
They still don't quite understand the whole, internet thing.
Yeah, the internet. But yeah, like what I do is just I go into the featured levels area, and I kind of look what's in there, and then several people have played my levels,
do they get rated or?
Yeah. Thus far, nobody's rated
or
it.
quote unquote Yaz.
Something like that, yeah. But
That's a birth control, isn't it?
No, unlike the Miiverse, that's their equivalent of a like.
It's a Yaz. You can go and then
Yaz.
Yaz, Yaz plural, the plural of
yeah.
Yaz.
Not the birth control.
Not the birth control.
Yeah. But yeah, Super Mario Maker is really cool, you could easily look past some of the different blemishes, like the way that you unlock stuff. And there's also amiibo support, which this is if and when you get a Wii U for the kids or whatever like that, just
for the children's.
Fair warning about the amiibos. Those are Skylanders or that whole thing.
Oh,
where it's basically like that. Where there's little Nintendo toys, and you can. And there's certain games where you can touch it to the touchpad or touch it to the gamepad, and then it'll unlock stuff, and stuff like that. So I don't know if either of your kids are gonna want to collect them all or like that. Or...
Well,
and they're supply limited, so you cannot collect them all.
She's getting into she's got it Pokemon, and which
may God help your soul.
She keeps telling me because I say Pokemon, and she's like, "No, you see the little accent? It's Pokemon."
Give her a little fedora, and neck beard.
It's Pokemon.
But,
get it right.
But
at least she's not forcing the Japanese pronunciation on you, Poketo Monstra,
Or using
she's not that pretentious.
Using the Japanese names of the Pokemon.
Jesus Christ!
Instead of the American versions. But yeah, so basically with the amiibos, you can unlock different costumes. So I have a few. I'll admit I bought a few.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You're a single dude.
Whatever.
It's okay.
But and if you touch the amiibo to the pad, and then you can play as other characters and stuff like that. That's where I tried Bowser. You can play as Bowser, but they don't. The only time that it seemed to have actually affected anything was when I actually was playing as Toad. So I have a little Toad amiibo, and you put it in there.
Does Toad run like he's in Mario 2?
I mean, he runs faster. And he jumps farther, I think, and so I think there are certain.
That is how that would work. If he could run faster, he would jump farther.
Yeah, but so So he will actually affect the way it's played. But Bowser didn't seem to do much of anything except that you can play as a tiny little Bowser, and it's like, all right, whatever.
Did he breathe fire?
No.
Oh,
no. Maybe he does. Maybe I just didn't figure out how to do that.
All right. Well, once you figure that out, you come back.
I'll come back. I'll update that. Mm-hmm. But thus far, so some amiibos. There are I actually looked up which amiibos are you can use with Super Mario Maker, and it's all of them. It's most of them you can. They've designed it, but I feel like most of them are just costume changes, and that's it. And then I think there's a few of them will actually affect the way the game is played. I don't know that one I'm not 100%.
I thought
sure.
Link was supposed to get some of his moves, have, the down stab from Adventure of Link. Or
something I want to say there's something like that, but the ones I have, Toad is the only one that seems to affect the way the game is played. The other ones are just costumes. But yeah, and there's there are some other preset levels in there from the 100-man Mario. There's a whole mode of levels, and apparently that will also unlock some other stuff as well. But yeah, so Super Mario Maker. It's good. That's I think it's definitely it's one of those things it's so easy to kind of get into that sometimes just I'll just pop in and just mess around with stuff and then be I just made a huge level just it's because I just kept going but if I put a pipe there, if I do this here, if I put a Goomba there, I can give a Goomba wings. Why
wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, you put wings on everything, and it's just there's no reason to put wings on this thing, but I did. Thanks, Nintendo.
Can you put wings on wings?
No.
No?
That's just crazy.
You can't have meta wings?
No.
No?
No.
Winged wings?
So how many Karibo shoes would you give it? 7 out of 10?
I'll give...
8 out of 50?
I will give... That's a bad...
That's very bad.
That would be a bad game.
On a scale from -50 to +50.
Yeah. I'd probably give it a... it's been getting perfect scores. There's just people just there's some weirdness to it, but who gives a shit? I think Jeff Gerstmann on John, once again, go back to his review. He basically just said all right, so this allows you to make your own Mario levels, and if that doesn't sound good to you, you're probably beyond help anyway.
and this is not the game for you.
And he was just saying all right, you're able to make your own Mario levels, and you're gonna get this game if that sounds cool to you, and if it doesn't sound cool to you, you're wrong. But I can respect that, and he's very much just just go out and get this fucking game. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, it does sound like something that would finally get me to purchase a Wii U.
Yeah, so I know you would also
have that in Smash Brothers,
Bayonetta 2,
and Bayonetta 2.
And I really liked Super Mario 3D World. I know you said you tried it and thought it was not.
Well, I tried it on my nephew's TV, which had soap opera mode turned on, so maybe that wasn't the best environment to play that in.
Yeah, but that's I like that game too. And yeah. Anyway.
All right.
But anyway.
Moving on. So, yeah, anything else besides video games? Any movies?
I have not. I personally have not watched any motion picture films since last podcast, but I have been listening to a bunch of music.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some music.
All right. Well, Colin, this is going to be common ground for both of us because you recommended that you let me know about this.
Oh, good. Another thing I'm excluded from.
But fucking Werewolf. It's a band. It's not a DeviantArt account or anything like that.
Yeah. Fucking well, I think it's like
fucking Werewolf ASSO or association.
Yeah, I was just thought it's fucking Werewolf and ASSO.
Yeah,
which is it supposed to be fucking Werewolf Association?
Because we were both introduced to them through keyboard drum set fucking Werewolf.
Yeah,
which was this little.
What kind of music is it?
It's
noise.
It's really hard to pin it down in terms of a genre, but I would describe it as noise rock with
Okay.
Is Nintendo Core still a thing?
Nah.
Is it still 2008? Can you still describe things as Nintendo Core?
Nah. I'm gonna say no.
No,
because that's a dumb word.
Well, anything with core at the end of it is it's kind of a pet peeve.
Fart core.
Noisy butt rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would describe it as
punk-esque, but they're just very noisy, very. They kind of remind me a little bit of early, kind of At the Drive-In a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of Melt Banana and
Phantomos.
Yes,
Mike
and
Patton.
a little mindless self-indulgence in terms that it is trying to be really annoying.
But it's not, though.
It's not.
It's not actually annoying.
But you can tell that's what they're going for.
Yeah, yeah. It's the guy's a very high pitched voice, and he screams a lot.
Yeah, he does. He does remind me a little bit of Jimmy Urine.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it is tangentially related to Hotline Miami in that Cactus did a.
It's like an interactive music video.
It's pretty much an interactive music video, yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I found out about them, and I thought it was an alright, like, you know, little. I liked the fact that the guy's voice was so annoying. Like, I actually thought that was like, can you guys sing like that the entire time? And so I just thought it was kind of funny, and I was like, this guy's kind of awesome. And like, yeah, it was like a weird. It was a music video, but it was like you can play the music video, and it was like a weird thing. And but you can also go on YouTube and just watch it normally,
where somebody doesn't fuck up. Because
because the thing is, like, if you fuck up in the music video, then like the music stops.
Yeah, it starts over again from that passage that you were playing up before, which is like super jarring. So I was like, it kind of works. I mean, it's Cactus. I mean, if you've played any of his games, like Hotline Miami and any of his like freeware indie stuff,
yeah,
it's kind of what you expect from him.
It's Cactus. The Swedish,
very strange Swedish.
I mean,
stuff.
and then fucking Werewolf is also Swedish, so it's like you can always be like, oh, okay, like when you see it, like, oh, they're Swedish, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I want to say the name of the album is "Why Do You Love Me, Satan." Which, if it doesn't have you at the title, the title of the record right there.
Really good album art too. If you want to look that up, like the actual album art's really good, really cool. It looks like a 70s like metal like type of album cover.
Yeah, it is kind of going for a Jesus Christ, the guy that did all the Molly Hatchet records.
Frank Frazetta.
Frank Frazetta. Yeah, it is that kind of like a Frank Frazetta sort of landscape.
Very like epic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a weird like demonic looking church or something like that, and it's really cool looking.
Yeah, it's almost like what you would expect for like a black or death metal album.
Put them for this.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, would you call it their first full length? Because they've done like very short like EPs before.
Yeah,
and like singles before. But they've also done like 10-track records, but they're all like almost micro songs.
Yeah, they're like 30 seconds long or something like that. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, like, yeah, it's 10 songs, and they're all like fairly full length songs, and like it's before this, I'd always just kind of pegged them as just kind of like a novelty band. They're just sort of like, they're kind of funny. They're kind of silly. Yeah, they did stuff with this this indie game designer, so it's like they kind of have that kind of silliness with it. But this one actually just legitimately like they're good musicians, and
they have some really sick riffage, man.
And this album came out in March, but it's and like a lot of reviewers have just been like oh, this is kind of a weird, cool little thing. But yeah, like it actually
did it really come out in March? Because I've seen like other reviewers like treating it like it was coming out in September. So I don't know if it was like a delayed release. Or
Yeah, maybe like that's the thing. I only saw it out until like September. Like because I actually like was following their stuff, and then like I didn't like notice it until like mid-September, and then but then I was just like, oh, did they have a new album out? And then I looked up like the release date, and it said March.
Really? Okay.
But maybe that's wrong. But like, yeah, I didn't even realize it was a thing until then. So so either it came out in Sweden in March or something like that, and like it maybe didn't.
Yeah, I don't know, because I know they're out on it's actually on a major label. I mean, I think they're on Columbia.
Oh wow, really?
So yeah, or something like that. Yes, I mean I'd have to look that up again, but yeah, I'm fairly certain.
But yeah, like it's kind of a weird transition from just kind of like this kind of novelty act. Like they had a song about like Invader Zim, and they had like all these like silly little songs, and like this album actually just it feels like an album that you would actually buy and not just like look up on YouTube and go like, it's kind of funny. Anyway,
yeah, or just like
one
of those bands that just releases like just a bunch of like really short EPs on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
You're like, you pay what you want.
They're okay. Yeah. But yeah, I was really.
But they
surprised.
never really go anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that was very good.
So what else? What do you think?
Okay, so here on
Discogs
Discogs, it's saying See, here it's saying 2014 as the release, but is it
Jesus.
digital only? But vinyl on Columbia.
Oh wow!
It came out this year.
Okay.
So
weird.
So you think if I got that for the store, somebody would actually know who they are?
No, I don't think.
With your customer base, I think.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I don't know. People come in and they want classics.
Yeah,
that is what they tend to get. Well,
yeah, and like somebody might like look at the album cover and say that's a cool album cover, and then that's it.
It is a very kick-ass album cover.
You show Erin, and then I guess anybody that listens just look it up.
But yeah,
go on Google.
Ooh,
yeah,
that is cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, and the F is backward.
What? Yeah,
that's crazy.
All right,
they're totally rebellious, but yeah.
That's a cool album.
Yes, that is a cool album.
I was also just I was listening to really behind on this one. This came out in 2010. It was a 5-year-old record, but I've forgotten that Devo made a new album in 2010. And I'd heard about it.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah, I'd heard about it. It was actually a big deal. Devo's making a new album, and I was like, "Oh, awesome!" And then 5 years later, I'm like, "Oh, right, I forgot about it." Maybe now, I was listening to it. It's called "Something for Everybody," and it's fantastic. It is one of their best albums that they've ever done. Is a fantastic album.
How long in between? I can't remember when their last one before that.
1990.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
20 years.
So it's a 20-year gap.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's a fantastic album. It's
really?
Such a good album. The single off it is called "What We Do," and just everything else about it is great. It's that one's probably the catchiest. That one and "Please Baby Please," and then some of them are pretty catchy, but there are a bunch of them that are just kind of weird, like Devo would do that every once in a while. They'd just be like, and then Mark Miller just engage the rockets or something and it would just be
time to dust off the Moog.
Yeah, something like that. And they do use some chip tunes and some modern
really
like that.
okay.
So what the kids are doing, and the music video for What We Do is also really good. And it's but yeah, this was 5 years old now, but still finally got around to that.
I mean, knowing those guys,
you've been busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would expect them to have wanted to do that when they had started out.
Oh, do weird video game noises?
Yeah, weird video,
I think they almost do in some of their 80s stuff, their mid to late 80s stuff.
I think the whole synth cart thing is a fairly recent thing.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to be authentic about it.
Yeah.
Anamanaguchi or... So that's also going way back to...
I think Anamanaguchi's been doing stuff lately.
Yeah, I know, but...
Endless Fantasy is still the best thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway.
But in terms
Erin,
yeah,
I do apologize. This has become Tom and I talk about stuff.
Yeah,
that's okay. It's all right. Yeah, like I said, I've been a little under the weather, and so I'm just chilling, just watching you guys.
Staring at our foreheads.
Staring at your foreheads.
I mean, shit, if we could continue to monopolize the podcast a little bit more.
I'm giving you permission.
All right, what are you talking about, Tom?
Well, yeah, what do you want to talk about?
All right, in terms of records that are actually new.
Oh, all right.
I don't think either of you guys are familiar with this band, but this is a Danish ass band, so I'm gonna totally butcher the name, but Myrkur.
How do you spell that?
Myrkur.
Never heard of him.
I don't know how you
say
it.
Myrkur?
Myrkur. I think. I don't know. That's also a Sigur Rós song.
Oh, okay.
So
are they from Iceland?
No,
they're from Daneland.
They are
Daneland.
Daneland. Hailing from the far off land of cheese Danish.
That's right.
But
God, I love cheese Danish.
But yeah, it's technically a one woman black metal band.
Wow.
There's a weird sort of mini media circus around the start of this band last year when she released her first EP. And I forget her actual name, so I'm just going to refer to her as her band's name.
Mercury.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a whole. She released an EP last year, and it's basically post black metal For anyone, for like the 99% of you that don't listen to black metal, it's you take black metal and you add like either post rock or shoegaze elements to it.
Okay, like what's the most famous shoegaze band you can think of?
My Bloody Valentine.
And even then, it's a little bit obscure, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the whole, the whole new gaze thing that's still going on. I mean, who
is new gaze? There's so many stupid fucking genre
I know.
names.
I cannot keep up.
Well, that's like fucking M88. I think is new gaze. I'm not a huge fan of them.
M83.
M83. My bad. Somewhere in the Messier catalog.
Well, what's the difference between new gaze and shoegaze?
Well, M83 is more like a dance techno band.
The date that they started making music.
That's basically it.
Shoegaze revival, like the whole blues rock revival thing that's still going on from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I don't think you can call it a revival anymore if it's still going.
It's just kind of here.
Yeah.
It's here to stay. But I like that one song that M83 did, Midnight City, and everything else is kind of
Yeah, I mean, a coworker tried to get me into them. I couldn't really get into them.
Yeah, because it was like I remember you got into, you tried to get into them a while ago, and then
this was a long ago. This was
and then they had to hit Midnight City, and I really liked that song a lot. And so I actually looked up that album that comes off of was like a double album. So really? I was just so I tried listening to the entire thing, and Midnight City was the only song I liked off of that entire thing.
Yeah, me and double albums don't really have a good history either.
I think Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness is like off the top of my head like the only one that I could say I like most of it.
Yeah, I mean this is getting to like prog metal and stuff, but I used to be into Periphery.
Okay, Tim is way into Periphery.
I am totally not surprised by that.
Why?
Tim is Erin's husband.
Yes.
Yeah, Tim is Erin's husband because of his musical output.
Oh, okay.
Because he's totally in the whole prog metal sort of thing.
He has his own one-man band called Water on Mercury, and it's instrumental.
Check it out!
It is
on the internet.
It is very good.
In stores now.
I give his music a thumbs up.
Sure.
And
I'm not a big metal kind of guy.
But you support him because you love him.
That's right. It's my brother-in-law. Water on Mercury. There are like a lot of different websites have said it's pretty good. One of those websites is a metal website, so they know exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, metal sucks, which is kind of funny that's what that's called. But he does not suck. He's a good musician.
It's an ironic title of the website. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean...
Keep talking, Tom.
But yeah, like with the whole Periphery double album, which I guess is still fairly new. That was like this year. I mean, it's just so much of it. You just get fatigued.
Right.
Listening to that.
That's the thing. Of just like if you...
Not that it's bad. It's just that it's
Rob Zombie at one point had said that there's so many different times where he's listened to a double album and he said like, man, this would make a really good single album.
Yeah, like they try to make it double just for the hell of it.
It's just sort of like,
because you're like leaving in all the stuff that you normally cut.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Or like, hey, we're gonna like put this off to the side and refine it for like a later record or something.
There's so many different times where you think like, all right, this is a double album, do you really want to blow your entire load right now? Like, do you really, like...
Well, it's kind of like a director's cut of a movie. I mean, it's, like, sometimes it's necessary.
Oh my god, yes.
But then other times you're like, there is really no reason why I needed to see this extra, 40 minutes of content.
Yeah, I think, there's, definitely with,
Lord of the Rings.
The original Mad Max. The first time I ever saw the original Mad Max from late 70s, George Miller, it was the director's cut, and I thought to myself, this movie is really long, and I was just like, and it's been years since the first time, but I remember not really digging it that much, and then I think I watched like the original theatrical cut, and I remember I was a little bit more receptive to it, and I think it's the same with there's a bunch of other movies where it's I'll be like, oh, I love this movie. I want to see the director's cut, and I'm thinking to myself, there's too much of this movie.
Well, yeah, I know one of the cuts of Blade Runner.
Well, the director's cut is the one you want because the director's cut actually cuts things out that are completely unnecessary. like the.
So I'm thinking of the original cut of the movie where they added the unnecessary narration.
Yeah, that's the original theatrical cut.
Right.
It has the unnecessary narration.
And I keep forgetting then of the extended version instead of because the director's cut. I mean, I've seen movies where
there's. I mean, it depends on what. I mean,
it's ultimately whatever they want to call it.
All right.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I've seen movies where director's cut means we're going to slap on another hour.
I mean, yes, it's basically a director's cut. Just means it's the cut of the film the director wanted.
Okay.
Like this is the vision, the director's vision that didn't make it to the theatrical release. And with something like Blade Runner, there's the theatrical cut, the director's cut, and the final cut. And the final cut is basically is once again another director's cut, but he actually fixes continuity errors and little things like that.
And I would say personally that is the best version.
Yeah, it is not distracting. It's not like all of a sudden there's a CG something or what the hell is that? But there are certain little things.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah,
the out of place CG stuff that they crammed in there.
And not in Blade Runner, but they don't really do that in Blade Runner.
Yeah, but they've. I mean, I'm thinking Star Wars. Personally,
that's what I thought too. But
no,
yeah, you were talking about Blade Runner.
But in Blade Runner, it's just a little thing of the one thing. This is definitely not the only thing, but they I remember watching a little featurette of one thing Ridley Scott had said always bugged him was that there was a point where a character is wearing a wig. And then in the very next shot, she's not wearing the wig, and then in the next shot, she's wearing the wig, or something like that, where it was just it was so blatant that he's just fuck it, I have to fix that. so they actually went back and fixed that to make it continue.
It is distracting once you notice it.
Did they have to reshoot that scene, or I forget the story?
They reshot. There were a couple different parts where they reshot it, but they did. I think they did their best trying to make it actually look like it was from the 1982 film, and it wasn't just all of a sudden it was
to
just
get the film grain right.
Yeah, and to do that, and I think they did a good job because I remember watching the final cut and I didn't even notice that there was anything new or anything like that, and I think that was the point of that one was not to distract you from certain things.
Well, that would be even more jarring.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it looks like
a 2012 film, whenever the final cut came out. But yeah, in the original cut of Blade Runner, there was completely unnecessary narration of just now we're in a car, now we're going here. I look over at Edward James Olmos. Man, he looks like shit. Anyway, so then in the director's cut, Ridley Scott was just he didn't need any of that. He was all about visual storytelling in that movie, and so the narration's completely out of place. So he's just fuck it, that's all coming out. So anyway,
yeah, I think it's kind of funny when you think back on that. The whole Blade Runner saga of the 11 billion cuts of this movie.
Yeah,
that because the production of that movie was so troubled.
Yeah, that
there was just so much executive meddling and such going on with the original production of that movie that I almost said remastering, but the re-editing and recutting of that movie helped it vastly.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you have the original Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
With all this unnecessary shit out of them.
Yeah, just because he could, and that.
Just because he could, really. Yeah. I mean, it was oh hey, I have new toys.
Yeah.
Let me go back and use my new toys.
And I know, Blade Runner definitely it was no Brazil in the sense that there's 10 different cuts. But there's one cut that Gilliam is just this one, don't touch any of those other ones, and that's the one that is actually legitimately great, because that movie's already kind of confusing the first time you watch it, because it is a very dense plot and just and a lot of the scene work is you really need to pay the fuck attention. You need to pay attention for this.
And it is a very surreal film.
And it's incredibly surreal. And so when you have people that don't understand the film trying to cut the film and go well, let's take out this and put in this, it's just sort of at that point, it's just all right, it makes even less sense now.
Yeah.
And so it's that's a case where it's just the director's cut is almost you kind of have to watch the director's cut. Or else shit gets lost in translation, and there's even there's a TV version of Brazil that's just they cut out the last half an hour of the movie to try and give it a happy ending.
What?
Wow.
And
What?
it's called the Love Conquers All cut of the film. Gilliam hates it. Obviously.
Oh my god! Yeah, I remember.
And
you jogged my memory. I've heard of that.
And they actually include that version in the gigantic fuck off like special edition that has every single cut of the film. The Criterion, like everything involved with Brazil is in this movie or in this collection.
How much is that?
Like it was a lot. Like I don't think it was a lot on DVD. I can't even imagine what the Blu-ray is. But I remember seeing it. It was like $60 something, something like that. Which
okay,
isn't
well, no, that's not terrible. I'm thinking like over 100 or something.
No, something like that. But it's still like it's the one reason why I don't like Brazil is one of my favorite movies of all time. But like I always think to myself like, oh, maybe I should get get the Blu-ray, and then I'm like, oh, well, if I'm gonna get the Blu-ray, I might as well get the big special edition. I don't want to spend that much money. I'll wait. Then so like I still don't own one of my favorite movies.
10 years later.
Yeah, so one of my favorite movies of all time, I still don't own it because I'm waiting for that time where I have like just like money to just blow and just be all like, I'm buying Brazil Criterion Blu-ray.
Well, Christmas is coming.
Whoa.
Treat yourself to something nice.
Treat
right.
yourself. So, actually, well, I do remember now something that I've started watching was, I don't know if you guys watched Walking Dead at all. Now they have Fear the Walking Dead. And then
it has a new hat.
It's Malibu Stacy has a new hat. I know, well, that's what I kind of thought it was going to be at first. I mean, I don't know. There's only 3 episodes, I think, have aired. And, the first episode was the whole setting up. I hate setting up episodes. It's just, to me, I'm like, nope, I'm done. It's like, no, give it a chance.
So you prefer cold opens as opposed to having
like
a little
all of a sudden there's
prologue in there.
Right, like something's happening and then you got to figure out what's happening.
Okay.
I've always been I've always been a fan of that where like I can kind of I like to be confused right off the bat. Like
I like that too. Yeah.
So with Fear the Walking Dead, well, the Walking Dead is the lead character Rick Grimes. He wakes up in the hospital and it's already the apocalypse, and so he just wakes up and it's there. It's holy shit, the whole world is gone.
And it is a setup similar to 28 Days Later. I forget which came first.
I didn't actually
the comics or the that movie.
Well, the comics for Walking Dead came first, and so the first episode of that is pretty true.
I meant with like
28 Days Later was like 2002.
I can never remember which came first because I did read the comics up until the prison storyline, and then I just stopped reading.
Yeah, well, I know that Walking Dead. I mean, they've gone into different directions. Some obviously for TV.
Yeah.
But so that's why it's interesting about that, where you're kind of going along at the very beginning of Walking Dead. You're going along with his confusion of what's going on, which I liked. That was interesting to me. But then now with Fear the Walking Dead, it's takes place the same time frame. This disease that they don't know about is attacking people's immune systems and making them zombies. Which actually they don't call them zombies; they call them walkers.
Walkers, yeah.
And so this is on. I think this is in California is set, and The Walking Dead is set in Georgia. So this is a
complete opposite coast.
So you start off with these people in their everyday lives, and then it slowly becomes the apocalypse. And I think that's interesting too. At first I thought it might be kind of boring because I'm like, I just want to get right to it because I already know what's going on, because it's like, yes, all these people are looking at each other like, well, what is I'm like, I know what's going on, well, I've already seen the other show.
Well, the thing about that is like they're like the way the zombie genre kind of started was like everything's already going to shit, and like it was actually kind of a new thing when it was just sort of like, oh, let's start it when everything's all right, and then gradually get to there. That was always a kind of a creative.
Either that or it's just very sudden, where it's just like shit, zombies everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Well, third episode in, and we're getting into a lot. So I do give them credit for not dragging out the setup too long. Right. Because I think that would kind of piss fans off.
Right.
Like, all right.
Especially if you're already
a fan. We don't want this to be a soap opera.
Yeah. Especially if you're already a fan of The Walking Dead. It's just like, all right, I've already gone through.
Exactly. Like I know what's going on, but it's it is pretty terrifying. There's a scene where they're driving away from the city after it's in chaos. It was just, there was a riot that broke out, and all of a sudden all of the lights start going off, and all of the buildings and everywhere, and it just really, it's like, yeah, you kind of go into their position of like, God, what if that happened?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it's just like that. Everything is, we're done here. There's no more electricity. There's no more. You're going to be eaten. Sorry, I didn't mean to spit on you.
Yeah. But.
So yeah, I like it. I would like to see where it goes, but at least it's picking up, and it's not too drawn out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's blood.
There's blood.
There's blood. There's some guts.
Blood, guts, and
gore.
So
I'm happy.
So if they put your quote, your review quote on the DVD box set,
there's blood.
There's blood.
There will be blood.
Like, yeah, there's blood.
Yeah, there's blood. Says Erin from Glass Half Broken.
The world famous podcast.
The world famous podcast.
Yeah,
I think
it's kind of funny. I just not so long ago, I watched a documentary called Doc of the Dead.
I saw that too.
Yeah, it's a pretty good documentary about zombie movies and things like that. And at one point, they're talking about The Walking Dead, and a porn studio made a porn parody of The Walking Dead.
Of course they did.
What was it, like The Walking Head or something like that?
Whoa, that would have been amazing, but no.
No,
how did they?
I forget
that.
I forget what it was called. But the weird thing about it was the fact that like when you think a zombie porn or like that, they're probably gonna look like that movie Warm Bodies, where they just have a little bit of pale makeup, and they still look you have Nicholas Hoult, he still looks like a sexy dude, and
there's zombies, but they just look kind of gray.
Yeah,
they're not rotting away or anything like that.
So that's what I'm thinking so that's what it's gonna be, because it's they still look all sexy, but they just kind of look they just kind of have the contacts and just a little bit of gray, maybe a little bit of blood on them or something like that. They're full on fucking zombie horror makeup. And I'm just thinking who's gonna fucking get off to that? It's
you would be surprised.
Yeah, so it's
let me circle back to DeviantArt here.
Yeah, so they so they're kind
of not.
And obviously the documentary is only an R-rated documentary, so they don't show a lot. But they're showing the scene of him about to do it, and the girls are and just oh, what the fuck? And it's blood and gore everywhere on her face. I'm just that's not cool. You could easily just had a little bit of classic 1960s zombies makeup, where it's just it's just
a
little
couple
bit
of stitches here and there.
Yeah, something like that.
Some red lips,
and you can still make them look
maybe go
attractive.
for more like a Frankenstein thing as opposed to a full on rotting corpse.
Yeah. What?
They're yes, necrophilia is finally here.
Yeah.
Mainstream.
Yeah. But anyway,
we're an in thing. But another thing with that documentary that they kind of touched on was that whole cottage industry of zombie apocalypse survivalists.
Yeah.
The guy
who's
building fucking bunkers.
Yeah, people who are legitimately think this might actually happen.
And murder tools specifically designed to decapitate zombies.
Yeah,
which you could also, also you could decapitate a human being with this. But,
these are also just murder tools.
Yeah, I mean,
this guy's just making an excuse to build a torture shed.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So but it's really weird. There are a lot of people out there that are just sort of I really think that
they're actively preparing for the zombie apocalypse.
That's never going to fucking happen.
But there are people who are extrapolating out I forget how much you played of The Last of Us. I know you played that at one point. I don't know if you played the whole thing. I didn't play the whole thing.
No,
but they're thinking well, yeah. I mean, if cordyceps, the plot of The Last of Us is it's a zombie apocalypse, but they try to make it somewhat relatable to real science, where they took this fungus that will infect insects and actually, it does zombify them. So what if that infected mammals too and turned them into zombies? Yeah. So they try to ground that in something resembling reality, as opposed to just oh, it's a satellite that crashed to Earth with space rays.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and then suddenly zombies. But yeah, there are people who actually take that shit seriously.
Well, it's like because the thing about
conspiracy theorists.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is like there are things like rabies, there are things like mad cow disease, and there are things like that can affect.
And yeah, rabies was totally an inspiration for zombie movies too. And zombies and werewolves.
Yeah, yeah. And stuff like that can happen, but it's just like
it's so far detached from how.
Oh yeah, and like
it is in film.
And the fact that like that could never spread as much as like an actual like zombie movie.
Well, that's what I enjoy about stuff like that, where I can look at this and like, this is the worst thing that's possibly happening to these characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
It's not gonna happen to me, and I can watch it and be okay with that.
And then you do feel some kind of catharsis from that, as opposed to something like The Road.
Right. Where all of a sudden you're done.
It's the bleakest possible thing.
Yeah.
That was a great movie. Actually, I didn't read the book.
I read the book and I haven't seen the movie yet because
the movie I thought was great. Really good.
The book is just the bleakest thing I've ever read.
Yeah. Cormac McCarthy, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Cormac McCarthy is a fantastic author.
Nobody can crush souls like him.
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah,
did both, and
that's like one of that's one of the movies that's like insane of how accurate it is to the book.
Oh yeah, I know. When I read, I'm like, this is they really did a great job on that.
The one book I want to read of McCarthy's is Blood Meridian. Is another.
I have a copy of Blood Meridian.
Yeah.
I still haven't read it,
and
because that's what I do. I buy books and I just never read them.
You just look at the covers.
Me too, absolutely.
Pet them.
I actually spoiled the ending to Blood Meridian because I was just looking up stuff for it, and then like the one synopsis that I read of it just tells you what happens in the end. I'm like, okay.
I hate that.
Yeah, I was just like, so, but I still want to read it.
Well, I mean, it's a Cormac McCarthy book. I mean, you should kind of be able to extrapolate the ending from him writing it.
The man does not like good things that happen to people.
He sounds like a bitter man.
He's an older man. Like he is like kind of an Elmore Leonard type of thing where like he kind of reminds me of that.
I should read The Road. It's been a little while since I saw the movie and I really liked it.
I mean, it totally deserves winning the Pulitzer.
Yeah.
For fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is one of those books, and it is totally readable. It's not like that stereotypical book like, oh, it won a prize, and it's just fucking incomprehensible. You might as well be reading Gravity's Rainbow.
I was just going to say, like, you're reading Gravity's Rainbow, like,
or Infinite Jest.
Like,
oh god, Infinite Jest. There was one time I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fucking read Infinite Jest.
I also have a copy of Infinite Jest.
And I don't even remember. I think I passed out in like the first 5 pages. I blacked out.
I knew I probably wasn't gonna end up because I started reading it and it was just sort of like, and then he removed his pen from his shirt pocket and it was so in depth of what was happening. I was just like, you didn't need to do any of this, Mr. Wallace.
No.
Well, I mean that's part of that style though.
Yeah,
I mean that's totally.
I kind of don't like that. Though.
I can't get into it.
I think, yeah, like I feel like there are authors that kind of do that kind of style, but they don't need to like do the hyper real it's kind of hard because hyper realism is hyper realism, but at the same time, like you can kind of like see that there are people. I think Dave Eggers is probably the best example of something like that. Where
I've not read any Dave Eggers.
And he
I haven't either.
Yeah, he kind of. Just to kind of like give you an example, he also writes movies. So it's like, and he's one of those people that can go bounce to and fro, and like he works a lot with like Spike Jonze and people like that.
Okay.
And so like his stuff is like we're reading his stuff. You're not just like looking at the. Like, because I remember, like when I was trying to read Infinite Jest, I was just like looking at it, and then every once in a while, I would just look at what was left of the book, and I'd be like, "Fucking what the how?" What else
you know what you need to do? You got to put a blanket over the other part of it, and then just read page by page. You're like, okay, all right, and then you take the blanket over. You're fuck my life. This is horrible.
Also, you tend to you can kind of mask that if you read ebooks.
Yeah, because you don't actually,
as opposed to actually dead tree.
Well,
books.
then it gives you. I don't know. It does on Kindle, or it's like you're only 1% done.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah. I think Google Play does that.
Like I've been reading forever.
Yeah, I think you can hide that. I don't exactly remember.
But Yeah, I think thus far, and it's so hard to kind of go from like, cause like one of my favorite authors ever is Kurt Vonnegut, and like that man knew how to compress a book. Not to lose anything about it. Though, like
all of his books that I've read in a day.
Oh yeah, and
because I couldn't stop.
Yeah,
the way he used language. I mean, nobody else used language like the English language the way he did.
Yeah, that's the thing about like what he does is that you don't feel like his books being that short that you lose anything.
Right,
and that's the thing, and I think that's why when I try to read something that's like super long and super detailed, I think to myself like, was any of this actually necessary? And it's like to the author, yes, it was. To David Foster Wallace had his style,
right?
And he's definitely a very brilliant man, but like at the same time, like when you kind of go from that that idea of like you let's cut out the chuff. Let's just people like Vonnegut were just like you don't need any of this. This is all like fluff. It's like fuck all that. And
I think a large part of that is there's not enough good editors to go around, and there's not enough authors that have something similar to Vonnegut's self-restraint.
Yeah.
I do want to ask before we head out pretty soon here, but what do you think of the movie that's coming out of David Foster Wallace's life, and it's Jason Segel playing? Have you seen any of that?
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, okay.
I know that it exists, but other than that, I don't know anything about it.
I can't imagine. I've seen pictures of Jason. I like Jason Segel as a comedic actor.
Right, yeah.
But he looks like he's wearing a David Foster Wallace costume for Halloween. Like, it's just, like, it's really, going back to noticing wigs on characters. It's just, he's got that, when somebody wears a wig on TV, and you can tell that there's a little bit of a gap in between where the hair ends and the neck. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it is. And it looks, and that just takes,
He didn't just grow his hair out?
No, didn't just grow his hair out. I mean, it's not like it's that long.
Oh yeah. He wasn't like
I'm
Danzig
sure it was
or
like
anything.
Spirit gum beard and all that. And it's
Jesus.
He looks like he's just playing dress up.
Well, I mean, I'll like look past something like that if his performance is actually really good, but that is a distracting.
But I hear it's not really.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not sure. I really would like to actually see some reviews on that, but
I have problems with biopics in general. Going back to what's a good example? I mean, shit, like a Beautiful Mind. I mean, there were, with like John Nash was a very interesting person. He was a very important mathematician.
Should have been a documentary.
No, but I mean, it's Hollywood. I mean, they like to whitewash things literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
I mean, they presented a very squeaky clean version of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the formula too, that this actor is looking to get an Oscar, and so
it's
gonna a tortured soul.
It's going to release in like November, December, and it's totally going to be award bait.
See, I don't even know if it's out yet. I doubt it.
Actually, going past that, I actually think another movie coming out is another Steve Jobs movie. But like,
I did see the trailer for that.
That one, it's this one. Okay, so the first one, I don't know who directed the first one, but
it was an Apple commercial.
Yeah, it was basically it was Ashton Kutcher playing. The original one was like Ashton Kutcher playing Steve Jobs, and it was just a love letter to Steve Jobs. He was going like, "Oh, he was so awesome! Oh God, he was so awesome!" And this new one, which I believe is just called Steve Jobs. I think it's called.
I think so.
So this one is directed by Danny Boyle, who's one of my favorite directors. And
so it could get really fucking messed up.
It could get weird. Fucked up. And it's starring Michael Fassbender. And even in the trailer, you can tell like this is not a love letter to Steve Jobs. This is just basically here was Steve Jobs' life. Like this is what happened.
That's much better.
You know what? I would break my no biopics rule for that because he was an asshole.
Oh yeah. Basically in the trailer, you're just like there was nothing they didn't show him as being like a horrible monster, but you can just tell
he wasn't a monster. He was just a douchebag.
Yeah, it was just like 25% of that trailer. You're just going like, oh, he seemed like he had a hard life, and then the other 75% like he was kind of a dick. And like yeah, it just shows like Michael Fassbender with his kid and is arguing with his wife about stuff, and like him just like he's like talking to like some like executive people and just go like, no, it needs to be like this and so and they're just like, oh god damn it, Steve, Jesus fucking Christ, are you serious?
But he needed to be that way in order for his empire to be built.
Yeah.
I suppose.
But like yeah, so I'm interested in seeing that definitely, and it's being written by I believe it's being written by Aaron Sorkin, who I mean, he wrote the Social Network, so he knows about like not kissing ass with
right. He knows how to make unlikable people.
Yeah. It's like all right, we're gonna make movies about Mark Zuckerberg. I'm like, all right, Mark Zuckerberg, he's kind of a shithead. All right, let's do this.
So let's get Jesse Eisenberg because that's what he plays. Little shitheads.
But yeah, so I would want to, and Danny Boyle has said that he wants his next project to be based on the Irvin Welsh book Porno, which was the sequel to Trainspotting.
Really?
So and so
that could be interesting.
Yeah, because like when I first saw like Danny Boyle wants to make Trainspotting 2, and I'm like what? And then I actually in reading it did find out that like Irvin Welsh did actually write a sequel to Trainspotting called Porno, and because as much. Trainspotting is one of my favorite movies. I've said that a lot I've just happened to mention a lot of things that are one of my favorites just by coincidence during this podcast. Trainspotting is one of my favorite movies of all time, and up there with Brazil.
There will be a quiz.
And I had never gotten around to reading the original book, and I'd actually never I had always wanted to read more of Irvin Welsh's books. And I just never got around to it, and but I didn't, because I knew he made a book called Porno, and I actually didn't know that was a sequel to Trainspotting, but Danny Boyle says he wants to do that. He says like everyone's on board, like Ewan McGregor and everyone involved is on board for that, and I was just like, all right, that's pretty cool.
They asked you first. You're like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. They went to the fans.
They went to you.
And
you're like,
I'm a British fan.
Yeah, but yeah, like Danny Boyle's one of those like directors that like I don't want to sound like an ass kiss, but like I haven't seen a bad movie by Danny Boyle. Even like what considers like
oh my god, he's so great.
But like even
he's so dreamy.
Even like his quote unquote lesser movies, I've been like it's still good. I still like it. But so yeah, I feel like I'm a bit of an ass kiss. Like him and like Wes Anderson are both like just like I've not seen a movie I didn't like of his.
Colin just grew a fedora
out of my beard, which is weird.
As he just said that, like I love Wes Anderson.
I don't know, yeah, but like I was just thinking of like another director where I feel weird every time that like either of them make a movie, because I go and I see it and I'm just like it was weird, really good. It's like
weird in the pants, or
but like but yeah,
I'm sitting right here. I really don't want to listen
like,
to that.
Like anytime I'll say. Like I think there are other I think on Red Letter Media they've said when they talk about Wes Anderson or Quentin Tarantino, they're always talking about how much they love it, and then like the fans will give them shit. It's like, what? They make good movies, like whatever. Like yeah, like when they make a bad movie, we'll say it's bad, but they make good movies, so fuck off.
You need to wear this pin that I found. I was going through stuff of my own, because Mom still has a box of my old memorabilia. I found a pin that I think was probably when I was about 8.
Mm-hmm.
It's a "Like I Give a Care."
Like I give a care.
I just can't believe that. Well, one, nobody's ever said I give a care.
Well, I mean, are you gonna give an 8-year-old something like I give a shit?
Well, exactly. It's like I give a shit
cares?
about you.
Jesus Christ, fucking A, man. That's a big pin. It's got a lot of text on it.
And now I'm just thinking about SFW.
So fucking what?
Yeah, that's Stephen Dorff movie.
I haven't seen that in like 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That was
that's a pull.
Yeah.
Something snapped in my brain there.
I was like, that movie.
Flashback.
I remember renting that on VHS.
I do too. That's how I watched it.
Yeah, me too.
SFW.
On a VHS tape.
What's Stephen Dorff doing these? Someone call him.
Call him Stephen Dorff. I think he's just
the Dorff.
The Dorfinator.
All right. Well, like I give a care, but we need to wrap this up.
I did have some other, when we were talking about like books, I wanted to give, but actually we'll do it next time.
And I have other movies that haven't been released yet that I'd like to complain about, but we could save that for next time.
I think yes. I think episode 3 shall be more complaints.
Yeah, but I mean, like the one thing that I wanted to talk about was something that I also liked as well. I've been the positive one out of all of these.
That's true.
You've been the fountain of positive energy this time.
So. Yeah, that's not normally your. I can't say that's not normally your personality, but
well, I mean, like
I just never really think of positivity exuding.
Well, once again we coincidentally
talked about all the things that
I love.
Yeah,
loves.
He has hearts in his eyes right now. All right. Well, we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
So long.